You know, I known my wife for 25 years. That's a long time. That's that's basically a quarter of a century. And you get doctors who are like, look, it's time to let her go. Now, I know a lot of you feel, Rich, if the cancer can't be cured, if it can't be stopped, don't you think letting her go is the best thing? Put her in peace. I would agree with you if she was treated for that cancer. See, this is the key. If she was treated for it, okay? She wasn't treated for it. So far in the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's a little close to 3 weeks now, she's been treated only for pneumonia. And the only thing they did for the brain was one thing. They put in a port, an EVD, to drain the liquid from the brain. Now let's talk about that. Right before they did that procedure, my wife's oxygen was dropping rapidly. They put her in a ventilator and they performed surgery, to remove the liquid from her brain. That's not flowing right because of the several, large tumors that are inside her brain. Now I said to them, can I ask you a question? She was on a ventilator, right? You still perform surgery. How could you do that if she's on a ventilator? And their response was, well, we had to save her life. We had to do it. So if that's the case, she's only 46 years old, my wife, the mother of our 2 beautiful children. Here's what they're saying to me now. Okay, they're like, well, we don't want to do surgery because there's too much cancer. So let's X off surgery. We don't want to do chemotherapy directly to the brain and spinal cord because she has an obstruction in the brain. Okay. I guess I could understand that, right? Because they don't want to be the ones responsible for killing her. They always use this thing. They're saying look, we can't do anything that can harm her. I'm like, well, when you say you don't want to harm her, she's on her way out. She doesn't have that much time left, my wife. I mean, it's really scary, So you're not really harming her. If you're taking an attempt to save her life, I think they should do it, right? But it's all about that legalities. They don't want to be legally responsible. In other words, if she passes away on her own due to cancer, that's one thing. But if they're responsible and they could be health responsible, they're not going to do it, right? But here's the thing. Radiation seems to be the perfect solution because radiation has been known to treat obstructions in the brain, tumors in the brain, to shrink them, okay? And all the tumors in the brain. It could give her a lifeline. It could give her a chance. But no one's taking this seriously. It's this is an emergency. You call 911 for an emergency. I finally got this radiologist on the phone on Friday. Well, I didn't get him on the phone. Let me correct myself. I got his secretary on the phone, and I requested for him to call me back. It took this guy several hours. When he finally called me, I had to take my poor son to the emergency room. My son's got the braces, Mike, and he was brushing his teeth. He cut his whole gum by mistake. Oh my God. I had to take care of him. And the second, just to make sure it wasn't infected, they gave him, obviously some antibiotics for that. He's doing okay, thank God. But the thing is that as soon as I took my son to the emergency room, this doctor finally called after 7 hours. You can't reach these people. It's and then on the weekend, that's it. Radiology is closed. You can't even reach these people until Monday. I tell the people in the ICU, don't you have an emergency contact? Don't you have a way to reach this guy? Because this is an emergency. They're like, let's see what we could do. He never calls back. So I got to wait until Monday, and I got to have a serious conversation with this radiologist saying, look, you got to treat my wife's cancer because she's not going to make it. The more and more we procrastinate here, the cancer is growing. And I've been watching my wife deteriorate for about 2 to 3 weeks, starting with she can't talk. Then she was nodding. Then she stopped nodding. Then she was putting a thumbs up. Now she doesn't do that. They got to move quickly. But what is their excuse? Well, she's got to be in better condition. She's got to be in better condition. They had no problem operating on her on the EVD because they deemed it an emergency, putting that port to drain the fluids in her brain, even though she was on a ventilator and her oxygen was dropping. They still went forward with the surgery, right? So then why can't they do radiation? So I'm very frustrated. I'm very angry because I want them. Give my wife at least a chance. Give her a chance to fight. God bless her. Keep my wife in your prayers. This is the hardest time. God, look after my wife, Jennifer, please. Please, we love her. We need her. My children need her. She's only 46 years old. Please, God, make her get better. Hold her. Carry her. It's like that story. They said when you go through your toughest times in your life, you only see one set of footprints on the beach. You know, throughout your whole life, you see two sets of footprints. It's you. One set is your footprints. The other set is God. So how come you only see one set of footprints when you're going through the hardest times? Because God is carrying you. Jesus is carrying you. Carry my wife right now. Please help her, God. And please keep my wife in your prayers. And remember, anyone would like to help our family in our greatest time in need right now, I do have a service. I write you the thank you song. It's a blues jazz composition, instrumental piano piece. I pour my heart and soul into it. I want to turn your good deed immortal. For a very small entertainment tip on my Cash App, that's like my piano bar jar. My Cash App is the $RichardLevoi. There is no underscore, no space in between my first and last name. It's the $RichardLevoi. $RichardLevoi. That's V as in Victor, O-I. $RichardLevoi. $RichardL as in Larry, E as in Edward, V as in Victor, O as in Oreo, I as in Idaho. All of this information is in the description of this video. Please keep my wife in your prayers. God bless you and God bless your family. God bless my wife, Jennifer.